I'm going to discuss about the internal structure of Dicot root. This is the internal structure of Dicot root, that is transverse section of Dicot root. This transverse section of Dicot root shows the following tissues from the peripheral region to the center. First, what is the outermost layer of the Dicot root? The outermost layer of the Dicot root is known as filiferous layer or epiplasma. It is made up of single layer of cells closely arranged without any intercellular space. What is intercellular space? The space found in between the cells, that is known as intercellular space. But in this layer there is no space. It has two types of cells, short cells and long cells. The short cells are known as trichoplast. Root hairs are formed from this trichoplast. Root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. What is the main function of the filiferous layer? Filiferous layer protects the inner tissues. The main function is protection. Which type of cell is found in the filiferous layer? Parenchymatous cells. It is made up of parenchymatous cells. It is a single layer, closely arranged cells. There is no intercellular space. Here, no stomata and no cuticle. Stomata and cuticle are absent. The next layer of this root is cortex. Cortex is homogeneous in nature. What does it mean, homogeneous? Because it is made up of only one type of cells. Cells are parenchymatous cells. These parenchymatous cells are spherical or oval shaped cells. And these cells are arranged with the intercellular spaces. They are loosely arranged. You can see the intercellular spaces here. What is intercellular space? The space found in between the cells, that is known as intercellular space. Then these cells contain leucoplast. It is a colorless plastid. So it stores food materials. The main function of this cortex is storage. It has leucoplast, it stores food materials. The main function of this cortex is storage. It is a kind of plastids. Plastids are three types: chromoplast, chloroplast and leucoplast. It is a colorless plastid. Next, the shape of this parenchyma cells are oval or spherical shaped. Next, the innermost layer of the cortex is endodermis. This is the endodermis. First, it is a single layered cells. This is the innermost layer of the cortex. The cortex ends here. What is found in the endodermis? Suberin. Suberin or lignin is found in the endodermal cells, except these four cells. These four cells do not contain suberin, but the other cells, that is radial and the transverse walls, contain suberin. What is suberin? Suberin is a waterproofing waxy substance. It's a waterproofing waxy substance. It is the major component of cork and it is named after the oak plant Quercus super. What is the function of this suberin? It is act as a barrier to the movement of water and solutes. It does not allow the water molecules and solutes. So, suberin is found in the endodermal cells. So, endodermal cells are somewhat thickened. So, first this thickening was noted by Robert Hasbury in the year 1965. So, these thickenings are known as Casparian thickenings or Hasbury strips. What's the name? Hasbury thickenings or Hasbury strips. But you should remember, except these 4 cells. These 4 cells are known as passage cells. These 4 cells are just opposite to the protoxylem, that you should remember this. But these cells are not thickened with suberin, these 4 cells. But other endodermal cells are thickened with suberin. What is the reason? The water molecules are absorbed by the root hair. Through the root hair, the water enters into the cortex and water molecules enter inside the xylem through the passage cells. Through the passage cells, not through the other cells. Because other cells are thickened with the suberin. So, the main function of passage cell is to transport the water molecules into the xylem. Once the water molecules are entered in the xylem, the water molecules do not flow outside again, because that is prevented by the other endodermal cells. Other endodermal cells prevent the backflow of water. Passage cell allows the water inside, but other endodermal cell prevents the backflow of water. Once the water molecules are entered, it can't go outside because other cells are thickened with suberin. So, you know the function of xylem. Xylem is used for conducting the water molecules. The central portion of the root is known as stele. What is stele? It includes pericycle and vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are xylem and phloem. What is pericycle? This is the outermost layer of the stele. It is present inner to the endodermis. It is present inner to the endodermis. It is made up of single layer of cells. They are closely arranged without any intercellular space. Pericycle also made up of only parenchyma cells, that is found inner to the endodermis. This is the outermost layer of the stele. Lateral roots are originated from the pericycle. You know the root system has main root and lateral roots. So the lateral roots are originated from the pericycle region. So the lateral roots are endogenous in origin. Next, inner to the pericycle, xylem and phloem is present. Then you should remember the 3 terms in this vascular tissues. They are radial, exarch and tetrarch. These 3 terms are important in this root system. What is the meaning of radial? Here, the xylem is in one radius, phloem cells are in another radius. Xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem includes vascular tissues. Xylem cells are in one radius, phloem cells are in another radius, because here the xylem, phloem are present on different radii. They are not in the same radius, different radii, but alternating with each other. Xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem. This is the radial arrangement. So, what is radial arrangement? Xylem and phloem are on different radii but alternating with each other. This arrangement is known as radial. The next term is exarch. What is exarch? Here in the xylem cells, 2 types of xylem cells are present, metaxylem and protoxylem. This is the metaxylem. What is the difference between metaxylem and protoxylem? First formed xylem elements are known as protoxylem, earlier formed xylem elements. The later formed xylem elements are known as metaxylem, but which is facing outside, that is, which is facing the peripheral region. Metaxylem is in the center, but protoxylem is facing the peripheral region. So, what is the term? Exarch. Exarch means protoxylem is facing towards the periphery, metaxylem is in the center. So, it is exarch bundle. Just opposite, we can say entarc. Next term, tetrarch. Tetrarch means how many protoxylem points are here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 protoxylem points are here, so it is known as tetrarch. The number of protoxylem points is 4. You should remember the 3 points terms: radial, exarch and tetrarch. Next, in between the xylem, phloem is present. Phloem cells are present. Next, you can see another one type of cell, that is conjunctive tissue. Conjunctive tissue that is found in between the xylem and phloem, that connects the xylem and phloem. That tissue is known as conjunctive tissue. The conjunctive tissue is made up of parenchymatous cells. This is the conjunctive tissue. Conjunctive tissues are present between the xylem and phloem. Usually parenchyma cells are present in Dicot root. Once again, I recall the points. First, the outermost layer of this root is known as filiferous layer. The next layer is known as cortex. Cortex is made up of parenchyma cells. The innermost layer of the cortex is known as endodermis. The central portion of this root is known as stele. Stele contains pericycle and vascular tissues. In the endodermal cells, you should remember these terms: Kasparin strips and passage cells also present here. You know the role of passage cells and other endodermal cells. Next, xylem and phloem. Xylem is used for water conduction. In vascular tissues, you should remember the 3 terms: radial, exarch and tetrarch. Thank you. I hope you can understand this topic.